Your letter basically refuted the existence of any minutes of cabinet, any minutes of meeting of cabinet establishing the ministerial committee in relation to the commission, including membership to the said ministerial committee. Are you telling us that cabinet does not have record of it establishing the ministerial committee?
That because now I have it. The first one I concluded because I did not have it and I did not see it anywhere, and even my team told me that we don't have it.
Was a search conducted?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. 2 weekends we've been coming to the office just to search. If you had sent me this even without a summon, I would have been interested to know all these procedures. Even before, when we made the search, we definitely searched 2 weekends.
When you say 2 weekends, you mean 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays?
2 Sundays.
So 4 days?
4 days.
You were searching?
So, but what do we discover?
The office must be massive, Mr.
No, it's massive. It's massive. If I tell you that, but we have records. We have records. So the conclusion was we don't have it. So, but then we did not end like that. We also said let's check other files.
So where did you find these records?
I found it in a closed file, that is what we call PRC, private and confidential. That is how I discovered this letter, this morning in fact.
So you had not checked the closed files at the time of the issuance of the summons?
Yes, I did not check closed files, but also the problem is letters without references is always difficult to check.
What do you mean by letters without references?
Like for example, written up like this. If it has a reference like you say, okay, National Assembly 1/2/ blah blah blah. It's easy to check that file.
Yes, but
like but without that, you cannot trace it.
But with respect, Mr. Njai, those references are internal references for cabinet.
Yeah.
And in fact, you just mentioned that.
I'm coming.
Allow me.
Don't rush. Let me help you.
Allow me, please.
Okay. Yeah.
I am the one asking the questions. You just mentioned that it was a closed and confidential file. So there was no possibility of us knowing any reference, would there? That is an unreasonable ask for Parliament to know the reference to any documents. It is rather the Secretary to Cabinet who should know all the references. Once a subject matter has been brought to your attention, you should cross-reference with your reference archive. Isn't that so?
You're coming back to the same thing I'm telling you. What I'm saying is the same thing. If you don't have a reference, that means you just have to search blindly. You understand? Just to try to trace. You do everything possible. So now we search all what we have in stock. We did not have it till when we discovered it this morning somewhere in one of the files. This morning, as I said, the extra document that I'm telling you, if you look at it from the Ministry of Justice, that one was extra. It's not even here. And I gave it to the investigators because we saw it in the file. We said, okay, this guy was part of the committee and he was inviting them. Probably if they contact him, they will be able to provide information.
When did you give it to the investigators?
In the second day.
So, listen, in effect, what we're saying is that a search conducted in 4 days after the issuance of a summons could not yield any result, but a search conducted today is the 28th, right? 28th of July, 2025, the morning of your appearance before this committee, suddenly records appeared. Is that what the committee should accept from you? Or rather should believe?
It depends on how you perceive it, because if you know how records are done, it's not like I personally as Secretary of Cabinet, you understand, will know everywhere where the records are. But when it is within the Cabinet office, it is in bulk. You start from one book to another, and you look at the dates. When was this? I never knew when it was done.
If I can tap from your experience, of course you're a more well-versed administrator than I am, or that I could wish to be at this very moment. Can you enlighten this committee what the purpose of records are?
Wow, that's it's not very complicated, but it's something that in every institution in the civil service has what we call a records office. The records office is responsible for keeping all the letters going in and out. Letters coming in and letters that are going out. Anything that comes within that institution, that is the records office, that is responsible. But Office of the President it has a records office, but there are things that they are responsible, there are things that are, because the office is so big, you have the Secretary of Cabinet office. Very rare they deal with cabinet papers. And then also there are letters that we call confidential that are sent to the PRC file. That also rarely it goes to the records office. That is different from the records office. So you can have 3 sections within the Office of the President. Other ministries you can have 1 records office, but ours we have 3 of them.
So my question, the answer to my question was that the purpose of records is to? It was lost in your answer. I could not get the...
It's to keep records.
It's to keep records?
Yes.
And those records are identified and marked, aren't they? Yes. Just like we marked your documents today. Your records, once they come in or go out, or within the institution, are marked for identification purposes, isn't that so? Mm-hmm. And these are marked so that when you need, to put simply, when you need the document in the future, you can refer to it with ease. Isn't that so? Mm-hmm. Isn't that so? Yeah. Fantastic. So, how come after a summons was issued, mm-hmm, your office could not trace any documents in relation to this committee's mandates? And if I may be more explicit, your office could not trace any minutes establishing the ministerial committee.
No.
Can I land? Mm-hmm. From your letter? Yeah. Your office could not trace any minutes of the committee itself. Your office also could not trace all minutes of meetings and reports of the technical committee to the ministerial committee. Your office also could not trace any reports submitted by the ministerial committee to cabinet. Your office also could not trace all correspondences by the ministerial committee, whether internal to cabinet or other institutions or individuals. Your office also could not trace any and all records or information relating to the said ministerial committee. In fact, your office could not trace any information relevant to the committee. Isn't that so? At the time of you writing our letter, after an extensive 4-day search.
Yeah. True. That is true. It was my first day here when I came, the investigations, and then I was given some documents. I said, now this thing can be helpful. Because the letters that I had some references. The references are the ones that we use to trace those letters in the files. And we discovered it was a closed file for a long time.
So you want us to believe that without references, these files would have not been found?
It's really difficult. You can search, I would have searched for the next 1 month, probably I trace something. Like I searched for 4 days, I did not see it, and then I will continue searching because I was interested in this information, not only for the committee here, but for my records myself.
And it never occurred to you that perhaps the information that we're seeking, being information that was relevant about 6 years ago or recorded about 6 years ago, could emanate from a closed file. It didn't occur to you?
No, it did. You know, like for example, when we have the records office, Anything that is closed, there is also a room where we close, all the closed files are there. You can be sitting there for the next complete 1 month, searching for with one cell. You cannot even finish it. That's also the records we have.
But why would that be so? Aren't the documents marked? Aren't they classified into groups?
That is what I'm saying. That was why the documents I have from here, it really helped me go straight to the file that was closed.
Mr. Mayor, I would want to believe that the highest office in this land is better organized, such that if a request is made by an institution, especially an institution like the National Assembly, which, by the way, cannot be deterred from seeing any document, whether classified or not. If such a request is made, you want to tell me that without a reference, that your office cannot advise its mind to its reference. And I'm glad you brought in the records office of the National Assembly as an example, because if I walk into the records office of the National Assembly and ask them for a letter, all I need to mention is the subject matter of that letter. And the record clerk, mind you, who does not have an extensive experience or CV like you do, or does not have a master's degree like you do, but he is very diligent. He will trace the reference number and afford it to me. And I would also give you the proposition that just like Cabinet, the National Assembly archives are extensive. They are huge. They are massive, Mr. Janneh. But if I gave him a subject matter and gave him the year of that subject matter, he would remove or trace that file in 5 minutes. And I would want to believe that it's the same in other institutions. Or are you saying that the records officer in the National Assembly is a magician?
If I tell you the office of the president, both the records office and the cabinet office has information that back to 1970s, most particularly the cabinet office. And then,
with all due respect, Mr. Janneh, we are not talking about a subject matter that was in this. Yeah, but if once your answers need to be directed to the relevant topic at hand. We are talking about the Janneh Commission. And the time frame for the Janneh Commission will be from 2017 to date, as it regards your office. So with all due respect, if we can limit our considerations to that time period.
Because Janneh Commission, I was not around. I'm coming because I was not around. But I made every effort to make sure that I get this information.